Hello, my dear children. Myself Sujata. Hope you are all doing well. In the last class, we discussed about the election system and election process. Today, we will discuss about unfair practices that may happen in elections and also about independent election commission, wide-ranging powers of election commission, how to check the quality of election process, acceptance of election outcome, as well as challenges to free and fair elections. Okay, first, we'll discuss about unfair practices in elections. Some of the unfair practices can be inclusion of false names and exclusion of genuine names in the voters list, misuse of government facilities and officials by the ruling party, excessive use of money by rich candidates and big parties can also be considered as unfair practice, intimidation of voters and rigging on the polling day. Okay, what do you mean by rigging? Rigging means fraud and malpractices indulged by a party or candidate to increase its votes. It includes stuffing ballot boxes by a few persons using the votes of others, recording multiple votes by the same person, and bribing or coercing polling officers to favor a candidate. Okay, now let us discuss on what makes elections in India democratic. In our country, elections are conducted by an independent and very powerful election commission. It enjoys the same kind of independence that the judiciary enjoys. The Chief Election Commissioner is appointed by the President of India. But once appointed, the Chief Election Commissioner is not answerable to the President or the government. Even if the ruling party or the government does not like what the Commission does, it is virtually impossible for it to remove the CEC. CEC means Chief Election Commissioner. Very few election commissions in the world have such wide ranging powers as the Election Commission of India. Okay, let us see what are the wide ranging powers of Election Commission of India. Election Commission takes decisions on every aspect of conduct and control of elections, from the announcement of elections to the declaration of results. It implements the code of conduct and punishes any candidate or party that violates it. During the election period, the Election Commission can order the government to follow some guidelines to prevent use and misuse of governmental power to enhance its chances to win elections or to transfer some government officials. Discharges duty. When on election duty, government officers work under the control of the Election Commission and not the government. It can reprimand the government. Reprimand means the Election Commission can disapprove the government. It is very common now for the Election Commission to reprimand the government and administration for their lapses. When election officials come to the opinion that polling was not fair in some booths or even an entire constituency, they order a repoll. Okay, based on what you have learned, now try to do this activity. Read these headlines carefully and identify which powers are used by the Election Commission in each instance to ensure free and fair elections. Okay, now let us see how we measure people's participation in election. So another way to check the quality of the election process is to see whether people participate in it with enthusiasm. If the election process is not free or fair, people will not continue to participate in the exercise. Now read and study the given charts and draw some conclusions about participation in India. People's participation in election is usually measured by voter turnout figures. Turnout indicates the percent of eligible voters who actually cast their vote. Over the last 50 years, the turnout in Europe and North America has declined. Whereas in India, the turnout has either remained stable or actually gone up. So look at the chart given and draw a conclusion on it. So voter turnout figure means it indicates the percent of eligible voters who actually cast their vote. In India, the turnout has either remained stable or actually gone up. Okay, this chart shows the voter turnout in India and US, data collected by Social Groups 2004. In India, the poor, illiterate and underprivileged people vote in larger proportion as compared to the rich and privileged sections. This is in contrast to Western democracies. For example, in the United States of America, poor people, African Americans and Hispanics vote much less than the rich and the white people. Okay, this pie chart shows whether vote makes a difference or not. Common people in India attach a lot of importance to elections. They feel that through elections they can bring pressure on political parties to adopt policies and programs favorable to them. They also feel that their vote matters in the way things are run in the country. So 67% says it has effect, 18% says it has no effect, and 15 are of no opinion. Okay, this bar graph shows those who participated in any election related activity in India. The interest of voters in election related activities has been increasing over the years. During the 2004 elections, more than one-third voters took part in a campaign related activities. More than half of the people identified themselves as being close to one or the other political party. 1 out of every 7 voters is a member of a political party. So, if elections are not free or fair, the outcome always favors the powerful. In such a situation, the ruling parties do not lose elections. Usually, the losing party does not accept the outcome of a rigged election. Rigged election means where the people indulge in malpractices to increase its votes. The ruling parties routinely lose elections in India both at the national and state level. In fact, in every 2 out of the 3 elections held in the last 15 years, the ruling party lost. In the US, an incumbent or sitting elected representative rarely loses an election. Incumbent means the current holder of a political office. Usually, the choice for the voters in election is between the incumbent party or candidate and those who oppose them. So, in the US, an incumbent or sitting elected representative rarely loses an election. In India, about half of the sitting MPs or MLAs lose elections. Candidates who are known to have spent a lot of money on buying votes and those with non-criminal connections often lose elections. Barring very few disputed elections, the electoral outcomes are usually accepted as people's verdict by the defeated party. Okay, now let us look into the challenges to free and fair elections. Candidates and parties with a lot of money may not be sure of their victory, but they do enjoy a big and unfair advantage over smaller parties and independents. In some parts of the country, candidates with criminal connection have been able to push others out of the electoral race and to secure a ticket from major parties. So we can say that there are chances for using money and muscle power in elections. Some families tend to dominate political parties. Tickets are distributed to relatives from these families. Very often, elections offer little choice to ordinary citizens, for both the major parties are quite similar to each other both in policies and practice. Smaller parties and independent candidates suffer a huge disadvantage compared to bigger parties. So, what are the challenges to free and fair elections? We can see that people can use money and muscle power. Family dominance in political parties can be seen. Elections offer little choice to ordinary citizens, and smaller parties suffer a lot. Okay, now try to do this activity. Here are some facts on Indian elections. Comment on each of these to say whether they reflect the strength or the weakness of our electoral system. So, given below are some facts on Indian elections. Comment on each of these to say whether they reflect the strength or the weakness of our electoral system. Okay, now let us recap what we have learned in this session. We discussed about unfair election practices, that can be inclusion of false names in the voters list, misuse of government facilities, excessive use of money, and rigging on polling day. Then we discussed about the functions of election commission. Election commission conduct elections. They can punish the candidate who violates the code of conduct, and they ensure guidelines to be followed by government, and government officers are under election commission during election duty. Next, we discussed on the popular participation of people in election. It can be measured by voters' turnout. In India, poor voters vote more than the rich, and common man attaches importance to elections. And we discussed about the interest of voters in election related activities, and we can see that it has increased. Then we discussed on the acceptance of election outcome. Always ruling parties lose elections at central and state level. In India, half of the sitting MPs and MLAs lose elections. People using money or muscle power often lose elections. Election results accepted as people's verdict. Then what are the challenges to free and fair elections? We can see people can use money and muscle power during election. Family dominance in political parties can be seen. An election offers little choice to ordinary citizens, and smaller parties usually suffer. Hope you have understood. Now read the textbook thoroughly and answer all the questions given at the end. Meet you in the next session. Thank you.